Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Designer Studio episode as we continue to get this channel up and running. We're taking a look at the Mhx Ghost Hawk, specifically the one theoreticalized used in the Operation Neptune Spear on May 2nd, 2011, which was the operation to kill Osama bin Laden. Dan designed this redesigned, I suppose, version of it, although there's not a lot of similarities between the previous one and this one, but very cool to see it back in the lineup. Yeah, right, supposedly. But this one comes with a lot of features, obviously very different from the rest of the lineups that you've done of these style of helicopters. So tell me a little bit about what you brought to the table here that was kind of conceptualized.
Well, first it's the stand. It has a stand.
Yeah, that's true too.
I've never built a helicopter with a stand. And the reason being is if you wanted to pose it in a mock or just have it posed with the guys on it or any are flying, you can do that. We've never done that before. And I had that on the original. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep that. I just made a better, more improved stand. The other one, if you looked at it wrong, it could topple off the stand.
Didn't you say you can angle this one too?
Yeah, oh yeah. You
cool.
just change the position of the pin, so you can have it up, down, whatever way you want. But yeah, it's angled. You could also extend that stand up if you wanted to add some of your own bricks. You can make it a lot taller than that. But I think this is as far as I want to go without the ropes looking hopelessly short.
I can understand that. So, it fits well for what it is.
Right. So we have them here in two configurations. Something that's a little different that maybe I've seen only in other helicopters or even in video games is this sort of like armed version with these
the super bat wings.
Right, and that's normal. There are the helicopters which this is sort of a cousin of would have different bat wings
configurations.
Yeah. And what we did here is we made it with and without. So you get the bat wings, you get the fuel tanks, you get the rocket
bricks
pods.
Included. Yes.
Yes. All the bricks included, and the bricks included to cover up the holes. Should you decide to take these off?
That makes sense.
We've done that in the past. So, hey, this is optional, but you got to use your own bricks. But it was only 6 pieces. So I threw in the extra 6 pieces. So if you build this and you're going, what are these 6 extra pieces for? Oh, they're to cover up the holes.
To hold on to those.
Right, yeah, don't throw them away. So the cool things about this helicopter over previous versions is that the doors actually slide. You can slide them shut. Was
that a tough transition at all? Like obviously when you kind of cracked that code, it was something that you wanted to implement in your lineup, but was that tougher with this style of helicopter?
No, not at all.
Okay,
it was more of like the aha moment, like how am I going to do this? So this has a different, so some of my Bell helicopters has a different sliding mechanism.
Right.
This is a completely different sliding mechanism. It just took me a while to come to me, and then once I had it, no problem. It's actually different than the Blackhawks we've done, so it doesn't. It's a similar concept, but it's a different connection. So if you've seen any of my last couple of Blackhawks, it has a sliding door as well. That's similar, but not quite the same. The shape of this thing makes it a little bit more challenging because it does have this angled side, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to work with than say the Blackhawks, which are just like either flat on the sides or straight up and down.
Right.
So the hull is angled, and let me pull this guy off of here and show off the wheels. I probably should have done this before we started, but they do have a opening landing gear, which I thought was so that landing gear.
Top secret landing gear.
Let me get the rear landing gear open here. Get that deployed.
That's pretty cool how that looks.
You can land it on your desktop if you really wanted to. But do note that I don't think that these were ever actually intended to land during the operation. So
that makes sense.
They would hover in low, drop their troops out by a fast rope, and then they would hover, and then only time they'd even get low to the ground was when they were trying to exfiltrate all the guys out of there. So they would come in low. I'm not even sure they would actually land. They might just go low enough for the guys to get back in. But the landing gear do come out. They do deploy. And I thought that was cool. I'm not even sure how they really do that because there's no actual pictures of this.
Other than this portion, isn't this pretty much the only thing that you had some actual design to go off of?
So the one thing that they did I've read, it's been a while, it's been a few years, and I did read some books written by people that were involved in this operation. And a couple of helicopters went in and they hadn't quite anticipated the aerodynamics of this helicopter hovering over a compound with thick walls. They never practiced. Apparently the compound that they practiced on had chain link fences. It didn't have walls. So when they hovered low, it lost lift and it actually crashed with this part of the tail hanging over the outside of the compound. And before they left, they blew up the helicopter they set charges, blew it up, exited in the other aircraft. So the remains of the tail were left at the compound.
And that was kind of where it all began, right?
Right. So nobody knew this thing existed. In fact, I don't think they still acknowledge it exists. But this is based on the research that I've done on, with what's out there, and there's some commonly distributed articles that talk about the Ghost Hawk or whatever they think it is.
Yeah.
That this is kind of a compilation of what it was thought to look like.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Not very often that Brickmania gets to deal in anything conceptual, really, because a
No,
lot of it
whoops.
is very, very blueprint based. And so it is kind of cool to see some of that
don't let Dan crush the wheels.
come into play here, especially with this. But so interestingly enough, whereas Dan got to take some of the concepts, that were kind of out there floating on the internet and create something that was maybe not 100% known, Landon didn't quite get that because there is actual documented evidence of what this team looked like and how, well, frankly, badass they were. And so we're going to have Landon in here in a bit to talk about the team that comes with this. Is there anything else you want to go over in the actual build itself first, though?
Well, I just want to say that it does come with 5 figures. You got the 4 pilots that may or may not look like another set of a crew that was in another contemporary helicopter. 1 operator and 1 canine operator. 1 human operator, 1 canine operator. This one here is depicted with. This is if you took the bat wings off, put the fast ropes, which actually do come with the kit.
Yep.
I just stuck them to the roof of the aircraft. It has the one operator that comes with it. I grabbed 3 Neptune
Then you would have added
seals.
3, right?
Yep.
Which I think on the pre-order there was the option to add at least up to 2, and so obviously we restock it as well.
Right, they're actually loose. They're available now loose, and we will actually restock those on and off throughout the future.
There you have it. Perfect. Well, since we're already talking minifigures, let's just complete the transition, get Landon in here, and talk a little bit more about this crew.
Okay, yeah. Where do you want to start, man?
Probably with the exclusives.
The exclusive.
I mean, I
dog.
suppose it's all exclusive, but the new standalone,
Let's
well,
start
not
with the-
standalones. You know what I mean?
Cairo.
Yeah.
Cairo. I like in a lot of the source imagery they would like operational security. They'd black out the dog's eyes, so you couldn't like identify the dog.
I mean, why not?
So this is Cairo.
He works just as hard.
Cairo's pretty cool. There's some custom printing on this little vest here. Of course, every good dog needs the dog handler. No, what's the official? So
The seal
apparently
pup?
apparently
Sorry.
rumor has it that the dog always outranks the dog handler, the person.
That's so they black out the dog's eyes and it outranks its handler. That's
Dog
phenomenal.
outranks, which is awesome.
That is excellent.
So this is a brand new minifigure here, exclusive to this kit, and so obviously we've had the previous Operation Neptune Spear standalone minifigure,
Which you can see over here.
you can see propelling from the actual helicopter itself right now. So this complements that crew really well, and so let's start at the top. We have the GPNVG, so I think it's like ground penetrating night vision goggles, something like that. So it's a quad tube night vision goggles there that gives it like, I think a standard night vision has like 90 degrees or 7. It's a pretty narrow field of vision with standard night vision goggles. This gives it like over 100 degrees. I think it's like 120 degrees of vision. So they can really see quite a bit of the room with these goggles compared
And it looks sweet.
And it looks
it's just a crazy sci-fi looking helmet.
From what I remember, this was like some of the first time we actually saw just like documentation of these night vision. These were super cutting edge at the time. Now they're becoming more common, and there's some other systems that are wider field of view. But at the time, this is some cutting edge technology. Moving down, let's take that helmet off.
Yeah, this is 2011 we're talking about. Let's remember.
See if I can
that.
get that helmet off. Now, to be sometimes Lego helmets get tight on the head, especially with this 360. So looking at this helmet, without the helmet, we have a 360 printed head. What was interesting that I noted is that some of these guys were rocking beards and had a little bit of shaggy hair going on, and so I wanted to capture that. Of course, it gets mostly covered up with the helmet, but I think it's still just a cool detail as well.
Yeah, and they're just as fun to take apart as the kids, right?
Yeah. Moving down to the uniform, he's got let's see if I can get it straight on the face. Moving down to the uniform, he's got the AOR-1 camouflage. So it's kind of similar at a glance to something like Marpat, but this is specific to these guys. The pattern is actually oriented a different direction, if I recall correctly, and there's a bit of different coloration compared to Marpat. So this is branch specific stuff here. and it is just a kind of a cool combat uniform. The sneakers that he's wearing, it's a little bit of an updated design. I think Slam kind of put that together initially, and I've taken that and each shoe has a bunch of different models, whatever. But this is like a hiking shoe, like a lightweight civilian purchase shoe. So compared to like standard issue combat boots, they'd want something a lot faster and lightweight.
Sure, and they get to use what they want. So
Yep,
if it's
yep.
civilian purchase, it's civilian purchase.
Yes. Obviously, this pirate gun, as they refer to, that's the M79, and that's been chopped down. So this is like a Vietnam era
Thump, right?
grenade launcher, a little bloop gun, and that's been chopped down, and then a holographic sight added to the top of it.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Definitely gives it that pirate look.
It's got a little, or a red dot, yeah. It's got a little sight on top of there. That,
So you can really aim your grenade, you know?
It's like really high tech meets really low tech, and then totally customized, like chopped down half the length. They got rid of the buttstock there.
You're probably not expecting a bang like that if you see somebody pull a gun that size out, and then suddenly boom. Like I can understand why the SEALs might like that.
Yeah. So of course, to go with
shock and
that gun on the side, you can see this wrapping around is the grenade bandolier. So you can store, I think. Yeah. Room for 5 grenade rounds.
Boy, that printed real clean
Yes.
on the torso. That's really nice looking.
On the front, so there's a whole bunch of stuff on the front. So on the front, you can't really see it; it's kind of hidden. There are magazine pouches, and that would represent the. In real life, they would have used the MP7, which we don't have. Will hasn't made that. Someday, hopefully, but
Just a little longer than an MP5. No, just
Right.
kidding. Just kidding.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Be nice in the comments. It was a joke.
Yes. Radio on the front. Back, we got bolt cutters and a pouch for tactical dog treats. That was
Got to be important.
thoroughly documented, and that's historically completely 100% accurate.
Sick 'em, boy.
Pistol holster on the side. Bolt cutter, I said that already. Yes. Moving on to the other guys. We've seen these guys before. But let's just go over them again quick. Again, so there's 2 variants, pretty similar here. Pilot here, nothing on the back because they're more commonly seated, right? A little bit of it's got a pistol on the front and a little med kit. And then I just really like the look of that helmet with all this.
Oh
really,
man, it
really
looks
menacing.
so cool. It looks so cool.
Yeah. The crew, so either some sort of like door gunner or kind of crew chief. He has the extra armor on those shoulders there, and that's a really tough to print detail there. So they have a bit of a modular system with that, their plate carrier, and that clamps onto their, or that straps onto their like uniform there. So that is the dude. Whoops. What else should I go over on him? Sorry, I haven't seen this guy in a while.
Take your time.
Again, another pistol holster on the front. We have the U.S. flag patch. On the back, you have the retention lanyard, so they can clip right onto the helicopter, so they don't fly out the door during maneuvering.
That's important.
Yes, and pistol holster on the side actually. So the pilot had his on the front, and that's just on the side. There's a bit more. He isn't restricted like the pilot is. There's a bit more geared around their leg, so the pilot wouldn't have the pistol on their leg as often. This guy has his pistol on his leg. So some slight variations between the crew and the pilot, and then obviously you get the kit exclusive stuff. So that's everything.
Super cool. Yeah, that's really neat, man. Nice to see a crew like this come with such a crazy conceptualized helicopter. I mean, obviously it was an important turning point in especially United States history, if not global history, and to be able to kind of explore it, even though there's not much known about it, being 10, 11 years ago already at this point. Pretty dang cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time I look back at these, doing a bit more research, I just find something new. So it's been a fun process for sure.
Yeah, and we'll see where it leads in the future. Otherwise, that will do it for the Designers Studio episode for the Mhx Ghost Hawk. Remember to keep checking back here on this channel for regularly dropped Designer Studio videos. Otherwise, we now have other channels available for like weekly sit reps and then our animations as well. So make sure to check all those out and follow us on TikTok because we're doing a whole bunch of new stuff now. Because why not?
Why not?
Let's go for it. All right, thanks for watching.